I once studied 6 A-levels at college. And in this video, of all the things I learned, including a really cool Japanese concept which gives meaning to selecting your A-levels.
Since A-levels really determine what course you end up doing at university and then perhaps your career, which subjects are the best subjects to take? Well, that depends on how certain you are about the direction you want to go into in the future. You have option 1, where you are pretty certain as to the direction you want to take. For example, you want to be a medic. Or you have option 2, where you're still thinking about which direction you want to go into.
These are all the things I'm going to talk about, and it gets really interesting and philosophical towards the end of the video.
If you fall into the category 1, where you know what direction you want to go into, selecting your subjects is a pretty easy choice. Now, the way you would select it is you would go to your target universities, if you have those. If not, I would look at the best ranking universities, so for example Oxford, and have a look at what they say and what their requirements are, because their requirements are likely to be the most stringent requirements. But the best thing really is to look at your target universities, because requirements do vary per university, and look at that and select your options from there. And so, for example, if you were to do medicine at university, you probably want to do biology, chemistry, and perhaps maths as your third option, or psychology, depending on university preferences. Do your research. Feel free to email the universities. They're more than happy to respond to you. Speak to previous students. Kind of get a feel for what subjects will really help you at your university course, and more importantly than that, which subjects will really help you get into the university in the first instance.
If you want to do law, accountancy, business in the future, you don't need to do them at A-level or even at university level. Often you can do certain courses for accounting, for law, for business, and other such fields in the future. So actually you don't need to study at GCSE, A-levels, or even at university level. So don't feel pressurized to choose them, even if that's your ultimate field that you want to go into. I know very, very, very strong candidates in these fields who didn't study this at university, who didn't study this at A-level, yet they went on to become really, really successful in their field and work for some of the top firms across the world.
Up next, what if you aren't sure what career choice to make?
Well, in this case, I'm going to posit to you some general principles to keep in mind. Principle number 1 is keep your future options open by taking facilitating subjects. This means prioritizing subjects which leave you open to a vast array of subjects, as opposed to a niche like music or drama. The typical facilitating subjects that you might want to consider choosing are biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, geography, history, language, modern and classical languages. These are some of the subjects that will keep your options open as wide as possible.
With that being said, there are a lot of courses that do require certain subjects to be taken. For example, if you're thinking of taking medicine or dentistry, ideally you want chemistry, biology, and maybe a third science like a maths or physics, for example.
The thing to realize is that a lot of these subjects like maths and the sciences, they really have great transferable skills that universities value. Really pay special attention to them. But of course, if you know you're more inclined to go towards perhaps a humanities-based course in the future, you may wish to select more humanities-based subjects. Also look for which subject combinations are really mutually beneficial. Try to take complementing subjects. So for example, if you were interested in computer science, you probably don't just want to take computer science and 2 random subjects. You probably want to take computer science alongside mathematics, because they complement each other very nicely. And mathematics also keeps your door open for other courses that you may be interested in and change your mind towards in the future. Number 4, university preferences. I've mentioned an array of subjects that you can choose from, but what we really want to make sure we're doing is keeping an eye on our target universities, because they sometimes have specific requirements that we need to cater towards. Always look at that in advance of choosing your A-levels. Are you along the right sort of track for your target universities? So keep maybe 5 to 6 target universities in mind and choose subjects according to that criteria. Now you can find this criteria on the entrance requirement for that particular subject for that university. Hello, do you think I need to tell them about not choosing the subjects that their friends choose? Yeah, I think they understand that they shouldn't choose the subject that seems the easiest. But yeah, cool. I'll hang up now on this imaginary call.
What we want to do when we're selecting our A-levels is to keep our optionality really high. What that means is we have the best and maximum options available for the future. Now, the way you can do that is by selecting a few different items, right? So what I'm going to introduce to you is this concept called Ikigai. Now, Ikigai is this Japanese, I was about to say French there, Japanese concept, right? Which talks about how you go about selecting your career. So you select your career based on 4 different areas. Number 1, what you really, really love. And the second thing that you need to look at is, are you actually good at it? So are you good at the subject that you're about to select? And number 3, we need to look at whether this subject pays highly.
The last of the Ikigai factors to consider is what the world needs. Now, what this means is, does the world need this subject matter expertise? Do they need more doctors, for example? Do they need more people to help grow more sustainable farms, for example? This is what it means by, does the world need this service? Of course, a lot of these factors are linked. Generally what you're good at, you always seem to also like. It's not always the case, so there is a bit of an overlap between these 4 areas, and hence why it's a Venn diagram that we can see here. The ideal is to find that sweet spot in the middle. Now, I know many people in the world don't manage to achieve this sweet spot, but that's the idea. We want to get to this sweet spot where it's a combination of all 4 of these areas. For example, if you love languages, but you aren't really good at them, it's probably not a good idea to take languages at A-level. I mean, if you really, really loved it, then yeah, of course. But generally speaking, you don't want to be choosing something that you're not great at, because you're not going to get great grades. Likewise, if you're good at mathematics, but you don't really like it, then it's probably not a good idea to take mathematics, because you'll eventually burn out because you don't have a passion and drive for it.
Amazing. But we have one more important question to answer.
Should I take 3 or 4 A-levels? Well, that purely depends on how well you did at GCSE and what your capacity is like to take on extra workload.
If you scored a lot of 8s and 9s in your GCSEs, then going for 4 A-levels is a really good option. Now, there are a few things you need to consider before you dive into that 4th A-level. Namely, that doing even 1 A-level is really, really tough. The jump from GCSE to A-level is quite challenging, so you need to be aware of that. Taking 4 A-levels isn't just as simple as learning more content. You also have to attend the lessons for those subjects, which cuts into your free periods. Now, I know students who take 4 A-levels typically end up with 1 or 2 frees at the most, whilst your friends might even have like 6 or 7 frees in the week. That being said, taking an extra A-level will certainly keep your options open, and doing an extra A-level certainly gives that shine to your CV. I myself did 6 A-levels, but I probably wouldn't recommend that. Another thing to keep in mind is that some universities actually give you some bonus points for doing an additional A-level. For example, Imperial lowers their offer if you're doing 4 A-levels, for example. So instead of an A star and 3 A's, you are just required to get 4 A's. So if you feel you're better at dealing with larger variety of subjects than really excelling at one subject, then maybe doing a breadth of 4 A-levels is the better option for you.
Is there anything else I need to tell them? Oh yeah, they need to subscribe. Where's the button? Down below. And they also need to like and comment on the video. Yeah, that'd be great. What if some students are feeling a bit anxious about taking on A-levels? They can watch one of my videos down below. Where's the video? Over here? No? Here? Yeah. They can watch that video on how we got over 100+ A stars. Wow, amazing.